Before we get started, I wanted to say every single cent from this video is going to be donated to NAMI. NAMI is a 4 out of 4 star nonprofit organization that specializes in mental health. In the description, I'm going to include a link to learn more about NAMI, as well as a link to donate directly if you'd like to do that. 2 weeks ago, someone I used to call my friend MrTLexify made multiple false allegations about my friends and I. None of the people who know him in real life or even lived with him for years will ever associate with Lex ever again. I didn't want to make an entire video explaining why, but when you come after me and you lie about my friends, you leave me no choice. And I want to make it clear I have no interest in anything other than setting the record straight and then moving on from this situation. Lex told his fans that his closest friends backstabbed him and threw him under the bus for no reason. In reality, the reason we don't see him with Lex any longer are because of the reasons I'm about to show you. It's also important to mention that every single piece of proof you're about to hear comes directly from Lex or his documents. In August of 2017, Lex brought a girl named Reagan over to the Z House. If you're unaware, the Z House was a content house comprised of 5 different YouTube content creators that made videos together and featured other creators such as myself who would often visit the house. When Lex first brought Reagan over to the Z House, he told everyone she was 18 years old. 2 weeks ago, Lex released a document and a YouTube video titled My Ex in response to the allegations made by his ex-girlfriend Reagan. In those documents, we found out that Lex knew Reagan was underage and lied to all of us in the Z House about it.
It is very important to note that when my friends first met Reagan had asked me to lie to them about her age.
The night that Lex brought Reagan over, he was 19 years old, and we thought Reagan was 18 years old because that's what Lex told us. But in reality, Reagan was 16 years old that night, 2 years below the age of consent in California. Thinking it somehow absolved him of any wrongdoing, Lex then revealed in his video that he...
Crazy how he tried to blame her for it. It's kind of insane that he tried to say that he was manipulated by a 16-year-old to lie about her age or whatever. And as an adult, it should always be the opposite. Not the opposite, it shouldn't be the opposite. What I meant is that, like, you can't blame somebody. It should be the opposite, as in, like, you can't say you're being manipulated. Usually people say it's adult manipulated them because that's a power dynamic. Does that make sense? It's a power dynamic because you can use your age to manipulate somebody. You don't get manipulated by underage. Does that make sense?
Knew Reagan was an underage obsessed fan.
Another important thing to mention is that Reagan was an obsessive fan of mine. She fetishized me before I even knew who she was. I never used my influence to engage with her. She was the first person to message me and enact any sort of relationship.
When I learned about all this 2 weeks ago, I felt so betrayed that someone I considered my friend would bring an underage fan into what was supposed to be a safe place amongst friends and continuously lie about her age.
I would like to apologize to anybody that has been affected by this situation in a negative manner. Specifically, I would like to formally apologize to Pat or the Smith Plays and everyone involved at the Z House where Reagan made me lie about her age to you.
Lex frames this as if somehow Reagan had the power to force him to lie to his friends, but no, he chose to lie to us. He chose to continuously lie to his closest friends. And this entire situation was not even the only interaction with a minor that he admitted to. Lex was talking to a 13-year-old fan while he was 20 years old to discuss his relationship problems.
Alex was a fan of my channel who had messaged me first because I momentarily opened my Twitter DMs to the public. Alex was the one who initiated the conversation with me. Our communication included a short Skype call during which I discussed the abuse I was currently experiencing with my ex-girlfriend Reagan. The conversation was strictly non-sexual and was never taken anywhere inappropriate. Alex was simply a kind fan that I confided in after he argued with my ex-girlfriend Reagan.
Because when one person makes something public, listen, this is a classic. One person makes things public and omits some detail. Other person says, it wasn't like this, gives more detail, omits detail. Person says, yo, that's not how it actually is. Here's how it actually is, puts more detail, omits some detail. Then it just goes around the ends.
Lex put this tweet from the 13-year-old fan on screen during his video in defense that he did nothing wrong. What he failed to do was mention or address the tweet that triggered all of this. This tweet from the fan alleges that Lex actually knew her age and continued talking to her and, quote, wanted a friend in Ireland that he could come visit where she lived. To be clear, Lex had plenty of adult friends who were always there for him and constantly giving him their time and effort in order to help him with his relationship problems. An adult conversing with a middle school age girl about his relationship problems is incredibly inappropriate. The defense that nothing illegal happened absolutely does not excuse this behavior. I hope it's clear now that Lex's claim that we were the bad friends is absolutely false. In fact, the only thing I personally did to him was say this on stream. Literally all I can say about it is I'm like kind of behind. I like partially saw a video someone made about it pop up in my recommended. But like at the end of the day, if there is anything A, illegal or B, morally wrong that happened, then like that is obviously condoned, or like not condoned. What's the opposite of condoned? Condemned. Oh God, thank you. Thank you, Sammy. Condemned. No, but in all seriousness, if anything, any sort of wrongdoing was done, it is condemned at the highest level. It's disappointing at the highest level. That stream clip is the only public thing I ever said, aside from commenting 3 hearts on the Smith Plays video where he said he can no longer support you after learning about your actions. And even more than that, Lex turned around in his video and backstabbed the people that supported him for years by making up blatantly false allegations against us. Lex told his audience that our friend JC cheated on his girlfriend Emmy with his girlfriend's sister at Coachella. Lex said this about someone who he once called a close friend. JC's family has welcomed Lex into their home multiple times. Every single person who was at that Coachella this year can tell you that this never happened. In fact, his only proof that this happened was a text message from his ex-girlfriend Reagan, which he had just spent the previous 20 minutes of video telling us exactly why not a single word she says should be trusted.
If you want to trust my ex-girlfriend so much, here's a post Reagan made about seeing you cheat on Emmy with her sister Kate at Coachella. Everybody in our group saw your inexcusable actions and were utterly shocked that you would be sensually touching your girlfriend's sister in front of all of us while Emmy was not there.
So either A, Lex decided for this one instance in the
Yeah, so we should trust her on that. Yeah, guys, that's what I said last time, man. When we watched this the first time, I said, why do we trust her now? And she's crazy.
entire video to believe his girlfriend and throw out the allegation that was completely false against JC. Or B, he actually was using this as a point to say, oh look, don't trust my ex-girlfriend about anything. It's a horrible way to make a point to throw your friend under the bus like that, which makes the next thing he said even worse.
Touching your girlfriend's sister in front of all of us while Emmy was not there. I don't think PlayStation Studios wants to associate with a cheater who defends pedophiles such as my ex-girlfriend Reagan.
What you're seeing on screen is every single person that Lex manipulated into thinking that JC was a backstabbing snake and a cheater and tried to get him fired from his job when he did absolutely nothing wrong. It is so wild to see Lex so viciously attack someone that he used to consider a close friend. And a cheater and tried to get him fired from his job when he did absolutely nothing wrong. It is so wild to see Lex so viciously attack someone that he used to consider a close friend. JC is also the person, maybe more than anyone, who has tried to help out Lex the most with his problems throughout the years. The person whose dad took Lex in, let him stay at his house for extended periods of time, and treated him like another son. At the time of recording this video, Lex's video that slanders me, JC, and the Smith plays has 1.5 million views. The reputational damage that Lex has done on a complete lie simply because he wanted to deflect from his own allegations is insane. What you see here is only even a small sliver. There are thousands of comments across his YouTube and other social media accounts.
It is deflecting though, true.
A YouTuber accused of talking to underage individuals to my DJ set in Los Angeles. I want to make this very clear. I did not invite Many Lad to come see me DJ, nor do I condone any alleged actions with underage individuals ever. Lex tried to use Many Lad's appearance in the crowd as definitive proof that I had invited him to my DJ set.
So why do people dislike the video then? This seems like a pretty reasonable of a response.
Yes, it makes sense, considering Noah also invites pedophiles to his own DJ sets.
Not only is this reason absolutely insane to say something as a fact, but here are several facts that actually prove otherwise. The first is that the event coordinators themselves confirmed he was actually invited by an entirely different party. The second you can see on the flyer that I'm actually not on because I was the last minute booking is that this is an open invite event with over 400 people on the guest list that I don't even have access to. I also don't have any control over whether or not a venue does or doesn't let a random person into the building. To further demonstrate all of these points, I'm going to show this clip from the actual DJ set. As you can see, 15 minutes in the set, a group of people arrives and this is the first time he shows up behind me. I have no idea who arrived or who is behind me because I'm focused on DJ. As you can see, these people arrive and then this is the first time he shows up in the background. He stands in the background for about 5 minutes, never once do I see him or interact with him, and then about 5 minutes later he starts talking with the people he arrived with, and then they disappear from the video, never to be seen again in the entire set. Everyone that I came to the set with is on the right side. As you can see, he's back here talking to the people he arrived with, and then he disappears from the video, and I do not see him the entire event. For reference, here are the people that actually came with me to the DJ set who haven't moved the entire set and stayed there for the entire hour. So let me state this one more time. Many Lad was invited to this public event by someone else entirely, and Lex lied about it in order to deflect from his own allegations again. The next thing Lex said is that Z House 3 didn't happen because of me when he was staying in an Airbnb with Chop and Pat in 2021. This house was never discussed as being an actual Z House 3 as Lex states, and ironically, Lex actually knows the exact person for the reason Z House 3 doesn't exist.
This is a source subject for me.
I know,
I'm gonna be
from
honest.
that, yeah.
It's funny because the last thing I remember about this is the third year we're gonna do it, right? We were deciding when we were gonna do it for the third summer.
So that's 2019?
2018. Jack was down. Chucky, believe it or not, Chucky actually saw things the way I did. Like Z House could really be a brand.
Yeah.
It could start to get like its own thing.
Yeah.
Like we have merch. Like we could really do this as like a thing.
Yeah. So he was in.
He was also in. It was you and Pat that weren't.
What? Wait,
Dude.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So when you say you regret it, it really hurts me because like, bro, I tried.
Lex himself knows he was one of the main reasons Z House 3 didn't happen, but he knows how much his fans care about it and chose to blame me for it to further deflect from his own allegations. Even though Lex spouted a ton of lies, the thing that made it difficult to separate and respond properly was there was one thing that he said that was true. Lex put in his video that I had cheated on my now ex-wife, something I confided in him while I was still trying to take responsibility for it. 3 years ago when this happened, I started a divorce and cut contact with the friend that I had developed feelings for while still married. I've already sincerely and repeatedly apologized to my ex-wife. I know I hurt her, and that is the thing that I regret the most in my entire life. In the years since, I was honest with myself on how I even ended up in that situation. I came to terms with how immaturely I treated my emotions because I thought I had life figured out when I really genuinely didn't know anything. I, to be honest, was a fucking idiot who thought I knew better than everyone else telling me not to get married so early. So many things went into making sure that I will never, ever make that mistake ever again. That being said, this is my private life put online by someone trying to deflect from their own allegations and truly the business of no one except...
Jesus. Okay, that was a little cold for no reason. That kind of... How did he cook? It just kind of... It looks like shots at her, like she was a massive mistake or whatever, when it should be all about the mistake that he did. I'm just saying.
That I who had life figured out when I really genuinely didn't know anything. I, to be honest, was a fucking idiot who thought I knew better than everyone else telling me not to get married so early. So many things went into making sure that I will never, ever make that mistake ever
that's
again.
not
That being said, this is my
fantastic,
private
but,
life put online by someone trying to deflect from their own allegations and truly the business of no one except for those involved who I've repeatedly apologized to. The last thing I'll say in this video is to reiterate, I am not using this video to send hate towards Lex. This video is only meant to correct the narrative and provide facts about the situation so everyone can move on. And I hope that Lex has the decency to allow the people that he has hurt to move on. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see you soon.
So what even happened anyway? In the comments, why are people disliking bomb this? Like, this is a 90 had 50% like. Like what? Only one thing in the world can fix this chat. And it's a small solution of hiding